good luck with your game, brother, man. I really do hope it goes well.
Hey everyone, welcome to update number 7 of EXR. It's been a while since my last one. I wish I could tell you I've been hard at work this whole time, but that's unfortunately not the case. Life got in the way a bit, but I have been putting in work these last couple months, and I'm excited to show you what's new. Truth be told, none of this work is really progressing the game, as I'll need to start from scratch since the networking isn't implemented here. That being said, I don't think the time was wasted, as I have improved as a programmer significantly, and am better prepared for those challenges. So I was doing some animation work, and at one point when trying to re-import my arms, the file got messed up and all of my animations went missing. This was a bummer at first, but led me to creating a much better rig and totally redesigning my weapon system. Previously, I had a pretty unoptimal setup, which is common for beginners. I had a set of arms for each weapon, all hidden in the scene, which would activate when equipped. I now have one single arm rig in the scene, which switches animation sets based on the weapon equipped. Also, rather than having every weapon attached to the player, I only instantiate the equipped ones and let the code attach it to the hands and put them in the appropriate weapon holder slot. This is the new standard moving forward, where art is separated from logic. I also decided to create a non-monobehavior weapon class to hold the data for each weapon that would be held in a list or database. This class would hold information for each weapon such as its name, item ID, mag size, rate of fire, the game object attached, the animation set it uses, recoil pattern, and much more. This would also change how my shooting system would be handled. In the old setup, I would have a weapon script attached to each weapon, which would handle shooting and things of that sort. Now instead, I have a script that handles the shooting, which is always active. This script takes in which weapon is currently equipped and updates its information based off of that. There's also now two types of reloads, empty and standard. If you reload with at least a single bullet chambered, you'll simply pull the mag and insert a new one. Alternatively, if you reload while the gun is empty, you will not only swap mags, but then cock or release the slide. To properly handle these types of systems, I also dove into the world of decoupling. At first, my decoupling solution was making nearly everything a singleton, but that really just allows us to not need to search for components, while still having dependencies. I learned how to incorporate events and delegates. So now, none of my scripts need to know about each other, everything can remain private, reaping the benefit of an observer pattern. In its current state, I have a static class handling the events themselves, using the event handler delegate. I have another script where I create custom event args for these handlers, which makes it very easy to insert new parameters without having to update everything listening for these events. I successfully implemented predictable recoil or spray patterns. You might also notice the player's hands follows this pattern, almost creating a procedural full auto animation. I posted a snippet to the Unity 3D subreddit displaying the spray pattern, and it turned out to be more controversial than I'd expected. Apparently there are many people who are not a fan of this, or even Counter-Strike in general, and this is fine, everyone has different taste. It should be pointed out, I'm not actually sure if I'm sticking with spray patterns, as I also do like the more realistic random cone of fire, and on the other hand I like the more skill-based spray pattern, so that's still to be decided. But either way, it's good to know that I'm able to implement the system if that's what I decide. There's also a custom GUI inspector script that displays each weapon spray pattern in the inspector and can be live modified while the game is running since I'm handling this data through scriptable objects. I plan on making a tutorial for spray patterns on my personal channel, EXR Police, which was recently created, and the link will be in the description. I'll be covering some lesser covered FPS features over there. I currently have one video covering fire modes and burst fire. Speaking of, I also implemented fire modes and burst fire. Each weapon has settings for this that determine if it can switch fire modes at all, and which ones it's capable of switching to. This is all replicated off the real weapons. For example, the FAMAS can do all three. The UMP-45 can do semi and full auto, not burst. Speaking of these weapons, I had the pleasure of purchasing some beautiful guns off my friend Nemy. I'll have his link in the description. I think it's safe to say he did an excellent job, and I highly recommend you purchase some assets from him before he goes full-fledged AAA pro. There's much more work going on behind the scenes here, including a new sound system, handling effects like the muzzle flashes, and much more. I don't want to spend too much time covering every single thing since it's mostly just back-end work. To be honest, I'm really sick of looking at this file, and am ready to start making actual progress to the game. It is now time to dive back into the Smart Fox networking and really start building this game up properly. I'm going to scale everything back to its bare bones and slowly add on these flashy features from there. I feel much better equipped to do this now, although it will still be quite a challenge. I really do appreciate everyone following along and being patient with me. I noticed there's a few questions in the comments I haven't addressed, and I might do a Q&A video soon to do just that. Anyways, I look forward to seeing where this project goes and the community we can build behind it. I'll be creating a Discord server for the game, so if you're interested, you can join that, get live updates, and possibly get in on testing once we hit that stage. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.